So we will lie down on our back, knees bent. Use a cushion or towel under your head if you need it for the time being. Let your feet really meet the mat here. So can you sense the pads of all 10 toes on the mat? And the center of your heel and a little bit of the edge, the outer edge. And it's not that you need to put any effort into that, but you're just bringing subtle awareness. I sensed someone coming in the room, and there they are. Bring one hand just below your belly button and one just below your collarbones. We're just beginning, Colleen. Lie down, nice to see you. So one hand placed just below your belly button, one hand just below your collarbone. And we're going to do some stealth-like breathing here. So if we were in the room together, I would want to imagine nobody else was in the room, that you were there, but breathing so quietly, so softly and gently that I wouldn't know that you were there. Can your hands be just a little bit lighter on your body here? And can you encourage now some balance, some evenness between both hands, so the motion of your breath happening equally between both hands. Still gently, stealth-like breathing. And then place both hands on your pelvis. So the heels of your hands are on your hip bones, fingertips towards your pubic bone, thumbs towards your belly button. We'll go into some pelvic clocks. So imagine that you've got that marble resting between your pubic bone and your belly button. And then gently rock the marble to your belly button and then towards your pubic bone. And then continue rocking between those 2 points. And as you do so, when your pubic bone's moving forwards, can you think of it stretching forward away from your belly button? So it's reaching, lengthening the tissue at the front of your pelvis. And then effortlessly rocking back, as if you imagine that there's an elastic band between your belly button and your pubic bone. And what you're doing is you're stretching the elastic and then letting the elastic go. It will just kind of ricochet and recoil back again. And then go ahead and balance that marble between your pubic bone and belly button. Notice there's already changes taking place. And we'll go side to side. So can you rock the marble between each of your hip bones, straight across the front of your pelvis? Your knees are quiet. There might be a little rise and fall as you're moving your pelvis around the head of the femurs, oiling the joints, oiling your spine. And then bring the marble to balance in the middle. Feel where the middle is, where the weighing scales, if you like, really come to balance. And then we're going to go round in a circle. So we're going to go towards your belly button, over to the left, down towards your pubic bone, around and over to the right, and keep going round in that circle. And work with the idea of the marble, or have the idea of the stretchy elastic, that you're always one step ahead, reaching the elastic away from the point before. And then rewind and go the other way. Remembering that there's maybe a rise and fall with your knees, but they're not flailing. And then go ahead and bring that all the way around to balance on your sacrum. Feel how that is now. Take your cushion out from under your head and bring your heels just an inch closer to your bottom. Arms down by your side now, so we can go into some bridging. Before we do it, I want you to remind yourself of your feet. We addressed the feet at the beginning. We felt our footprints. So feel your footprints again. Also feel the imprint of the back of your head and the back of your shoulders. So there's some weight into the back of your head and shoulders. And also bring some awareness to your arms. So can your arms be heavy? And imagine the imprint if you were lying on a warm sandy beach, that there's more imprint in your feet, head, shoulders, and arms than anywhere else. Let the weight of you really be in those points. And whilst it's in those points, we can start that gentle drift up away from the sand with your pelvis and your spine. Breathe into the back of your ribs before you let your spine trickle back down into the sand. And again, feel the imprint of those points, allowing you to be light in your pelvis, to yawn open the front of your hips, to lengthen out your spine. And then on the way down, lengthen out between each vertebrae. You could imagine that each vertebrae is strung together with elastic, like we said with your pelvis. So you're using that to help you create more space, more length. If I was there, I would come and take gentle hold of the back of your knees as we go up and just encourage them forwards, away from your head, away from your hips, pulling your shins and knees forward. And I'd keep pulling them a little bit forwards as you come down to encourage that ongoing length. Let's do one more of our bridges. And then when you come down, just pause there at the bottom. Great job, everyone. So we're going to interlace your hands behind your head. So you clasp your hands behind your head. Make sure you're on your skull and not your neck. Take your feet a little bit forwards from your bottom again. And then reach your elbows up towards the ceiling. And then reach your elbows out and down towards the floor. And reach your elbows up towards the ceiling and then out and down towards the floor. You're going to exhale your elbows up and you're going to inhale your elbows down. Exhale your elbows up, inhale your elbows down. As your elbows go up, look down your cheekbones. As your elbows go down, look towards your eyebrows. Cheekbones, eyebrows. Exhale, cheekbones. Inhale, eyebrows. So we're releasing the back of your neck by mobilizing your eyes in the socket. We're mobilizing the glenohumeral joint, your scapula on your ribs can also be considered a joint. Lots of goodness happening. One last one. And then release your hands. Grab your cushion underneath your head again. And then you're going to fold one leg up and then the other into tabletop position. Take hold of your knees. That's it. So you got your hands on your knees and you're going to circle your thigh bones in the sockets. You can let your heels drop towards your bottom if it feels too energetic to keep them lifted today. And we're literally just stirring your thigh bones in the sockets. You might find that you're rolling around on your lower back. What I'd like us to do is actually keep some length. So your tailbone is pointing forward and then change direction. Keep your tailbone pointing forward so that we're getting a little bit more mobility in your hip socket and your pelvic floor. And then come to rest. Keep your hands on your knees and you're just going to do a little scissoring. And it's going to be quite quick. That's it. There we go. That's it. Give a little pace to it. So you're moving your legs and your hands are glued. So this means that your arms are being affected and your shoulders are being affected, and then your spine can be affected. So let yourself go a little bit with the movement. So can you let yourself rotate just that little bit as you do the movement? Couple more. And then Let it come to settle. Now we're going to do one going forward a little bit further and roll across your head in the opposite direction and then bring it back in. So you're still scissoring, but it's slowly, and you let your head roll. If you've not got a cushion under your head, you might find your head wants to come up and it's off the floor. Even with the cushion under your head, if you keep going, you're going to be coming up into some rotation, into like a crisscross type idea. But equally, you don't have to. So you're listening to your body. Do what feels good. Your legs are leading. It's like your legs are kind of dragging your spine around. Couple more, whatever you're doing. And then rest there. Hands down by your side, palms facing the floor, shins lifted. Bent knee openings, both opening and closing. Yawning, your inner thighs open and closed. Your shins and feet don't lead this, your thighs lead this. So yawn, that's it, your thighs open. Again, you can imagine the elastic band kind of image again. So the elastic band goes from knee to knee through your pelvis. Those of you that know the pelvic health work, it's your butterfly. Oh, and I have to tell you the exciting thing that I got when I was in New York. I found an artist and all her work was vaginas. It was amazing. So I literally now have a painting of a butterfly vagina by an original artist. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you can imagine how excited I was. And so many beautiful work. I could have like gone mad, but anyway, I just got a couple of butterflies. It was very pleasing, and I got one for Anna, the physio as well, because it would have been. I just had to. Anyway, alternating legs now, opening one, and then closing, opening the other, and then closing. Dropping the still leg, the quiet leg, deep into the hip socket whilst the other one yawns open. We're doing this with legs in the air, but you know you could do this with your feet on the floor. So take the option that feels good in your body today. Even with this one, lead with your thigh. So it's not your shin. Tell yourself off if you feel your foot is leading. Mine was leading. 2 more. And then you can place your feet down. Notice how everything is. We're going to do a heel slide out and in. Right leg only on its own. Slide your right heel away. Slide it back in. Slide it away. That's it. Slide it back in. Then we're going to add in your right arm arcing overhead. Arc it over and arc it back. Your sacrum is your anchor point as you're reaching away. Think about yawning, the sensation of yawning. And you know that when you take your arm over your head, your armpit ribs have to open. So we can bring our attention to that concertina or fan opening. Take it over and stay there for some pelvic yawning. So you're going to roll onto your right hip and then roll back. Roll onto your right hip and then back. As you're rolling, your right arm is actively reaching over your head. Your left knee is reaching forward. That's it. So now what we're going to do is as you roll back, bring your arm back As you yawn, take your arm over. As you yawn and take your arm over, roll your head left. The back of your shoulders are staying gently into the mat. And go at a pace that works for you. You don't have to go my pace. And again, remind yourself of the yawning quality. Once more. And then bend your knee in. Notice how it feels. Compare the two sides. Brilliantly wonky. Let's go ahead and heel slide on the left. Sliding out. And in. Breathing as it serves you. Heavy sacrum standing into the right footprint. Not pushing, it's just that you're aware of it. And then let's go ahead and add left arm overhead. So we're taking arm and leg away from each other. Remembering the yawning ribs or the concertina opening. And that's it. And then stay out this time. Let's yawn. Rolling over onto the left leg, yawning open through the front of your pelvis. Your arm stays reaching overhead and reaches a little bit more as you're yawning. And then adding in the return of the arm as you return your pelvis. Yawning and returning. And rolling your head right as you yawn and returning. Heaviness through the back of your shoulders. You're yawning away from your right shoulder. So all of these movements are helping balance out our pelvis, helping wring out our spine, all of the good things that we need. Twice more. Once more. And then bend both knees. Be there for a moment to compare how it feels. And then come onto your side. So we don't need our cushion, I think, for this part. You're going to be doing some thoracic rotation to start with. So clasp your hands behind your head like we did before. And then heavy through your legs, rolling across the back of your shoulders. Gaze keeps going. So when you go back, I want you to have a pause back there where you really see and look a bit further. Like, can your head roll because you can look? I'm always aiming to look in that triangle space between my elbow. So can you pause? Allowing yourself to go that little bit further. Sometimes with more of our kind of basic or pre-Pilates movements or the movements that we do all the time, I think we go to where we think we go to or where we've gone to before, or we stop ourselves short, or we're not conscious in our movement. And actually they're can be a lot more to juice out of it if we bring our conscious awareness to it. You know, all movements are useful and have something in them for us. Let's do one more. You might even get a click or a crack. I just got a little one there. Okay, and then when you finish that last one, take your top hand, put it on the side of your pelvis here, flex your feet, and then standing into your bottom leg, release the top leg, and then bring it down. Stand into your bottom leg, release the top leg, and bring it down. This time we'll stay lifted. So you stay lifted. Leave your knee where it is, your thigh where it is, and you're going to can kick your leg. That's it. Can kick your leg. Flex and then point. Flex and then point. What I want you to imagine is there's something behind your knee. So you're going to scoop around to something behind you. That's it. Brilliant. Your knee, really keep true. But imagine you're balancing on the side of your knee here, the drink that you're going to have at the end of class. One last kick. And then kick straight and stay straight, point. And then you're going to do a straight leg. Flex forward, point back. And you can take your legs slightly behind you if you've got space, or just in line with your body. But remember the scoop feeling that you had when you were bending. It's that kind of feeling. That's it. And then bring your leg in line with your body. Keep it there. Move myself. Keep it there in line with your body, and then bend here. Bend here. So your knee stays and you scoop, just as we did before, but now your knee is in line with your body. Think about single leg kick. It's that scooping around. That's it. We need to encourage more opportunities for ourselves and for our clients to do this kind of movement. That's it. One more. And then rest. Bravo. Let's do the other side. We'll do our thoracic rotations first. So bending your knees, clasping your hands behind your head, ready to roll. Like we did on the other side, pause for a moment back here. Keep your gaze going, and you'll find your head will follow and you'll go that little bit further. Your head be heavy and roll. Your legs are heavy too. We don't need to fix them. If you're really fixing your legs here, you'll end up hinging in your lumbar, and we need to allow a little bit of rotation to travel all the way down the full length of your spine and not just be up in your thoracic. The majority happens there, not the entirety. Last one. And then release your top hand, put it on your hip, excuse me, and then flex your feet. So you've got a good bit of anchoring down that little toe side of your underneath leg to then release the top leg. That's it. Release. And then we'll keep it lifted, ready to can. Flex as you can, forward, point as you come back. That's it. Keep your knee exactly above your bottom knee. That's it. Each time you kick forwards, inflate your bottom a little bit more. So even if you need to, you can put your hand round your bum to encourage a little bit more expansion and length through there. That's it. 2 more. And then kick it straight. And then we'll go into the straight leg. There we go. Flex forwards, point as you reach back. And you might go behind you, or you might just stay in line. Flex forward, point back. And then bring it in line, ready for our scoops. Scoop around. So imagine something's at the back of your knee and you're coming around it. Around it. That's it. Imagine that it's a gift, that perfect gift you've been hinting for this Christmas. You're going around it. That's it. Brilliant. Come around. One more. Excellent. Bravo. Lie on your tummy. Rest your head in your hands. Rock your pelvis side to side. And then tuck your toes, lengthen out your thighs, and straighten out. We're going to go into baby looks, but before we do it, let's just do some breath. Feel how as you exhale, there is a natural lengthening occurring. There's also a widening across the front of your hips. And then take your hands a little bit wider, but leave your forehead just hovering. And when you breathe out, take that lengthening to look around over your shoulder. And then when you exhale the next time, take that lengthening to look over your other shoulder. And you're literally just going to be looking over your shoulder, one way, then the other. Using the contact of your arms and your hands to help gain some traction, some purchase. And really taking on that sense of lengthening. You're not shortening to look over your shoulder, you're lengthening. And you might be getting a little bit higher each time. Your bottom ribs will stay closer to the mat, even though there is some movement there. And it's more about what's happening above. Keep going with this movement and really see with your eyes, like we did with the thoracic rotations and our little butterfly arms at the beginning. We're using our eyes. And then look over your left shoulder and pause there. Bend your right knee, so it's the opposite leg, like we just did, reaching around that parcel, that special present, and then extend it as you come through the center, and then you're going to do the other one. Scooping around and keep going. So I want you to feel the right knee to left shoulder lengthening as you are rotating around that way and vice versa. So we're getting that oblique sling, awoken, scooping around. Really scoop, scoop, scoop. So you're not just bending your knee, you're also not side bending your body. You are rotating, and you kind of come down in between like a baby would, figuring it out. That's it. One or two more. Well done, team. And then coming into all fours, hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, nice long spine. Make sure your sit bones are wide open. You're looking forwards on your mat, not between your hands, because then your head would be falling off, which is not a good idea. So we're here and we're going to do some mini cats. So this is where it's just your pelvic flock, pubic bone to belly button, and then lengthening out. So think about your marble rolling between your pubic bone and your belly button, and then the lengthening out, the elastic lengthening. Just keep repeating that movement. And then on the next one, we're going to start with that mini cat, but you're going to continue and curve your whole spine and start with the mini cat coming out and lengthen out. So it's more like a Mexican wave. Mini cat begins, the rest of your spine follows. Mini cat lengthens out, rest of your spine follows. And then the next time you're in your mini cat, you're going to stay there. Not your mini cat, your full cat. Stay there. And we're going to rock it out here. Long shins today, open through the front of your ankles. Weight towards the little finger side of your hands so that your scapula are on your ribs and not in your ears. I said that my earpiece fell out. Last one. And then lengthen your spine out. We're going to do some basic quadruped, opposite arm and leg. So you reach your second toe back behind you and you reach your arm forward like you're going to shake someone's hand, and then you bring it in. Emphasis on the second toe going back, not your big toe. This is going to really help you to find the stability through your pelvis. You might feel a different awakening through your pelvic floor. And remember, I like it when we turn the palm like you're going to shake someone's hand, because it's going to encourage the motion of your ribs to yawn open laterally and avoid that extension and flexion through your spine. Last couple like this. And then we're going to do same arm as leg on the same side for star, as if by magic. Same arm as leg, same side repeating. You can do this where you keep your foot on the floor, or you can lift your leg up. What I want you to do is hark back to when we were on our back and we did pelvic yawning. It's the same thing, only we're in our quadruped, we are weight bearing. But can you make it about your pelvis and leg turning versus your arm and leg flailing? That's it. It will ground you more if you move from that middle, that center of gravity out, versus moving from your arm and leg. For most of us anyway. One more on this side. And then we change sides. So taking it out, and we're going to be different when we start off on the second side of anything. We're going to be different because both sides are different. you're going to be different because you've just done the work on the other side. This one needs some opportunities. And again, thinking about the pelvic yawning, the leading from your pelvis, turning your pelvis like a pelvic clock on your thigh bones. So much of what we do returns back to pelvic clock in some way. Let's just do one more on this side. And then one last thing in our quadruped. You're going to tuck your toes under now. Really find your big toe and your second toe tucked under. Spread your hands like starfish, so your first finger is pointing forward and your little finger spreads out to the side. So you're going to stand into your toes and stand into your hands, allowing your knees to hover no more than an inch. A centimeter would be the goal, certainly no more than an inch off the floor. They're going to stay there whilst you rock back and forth. You will have rocked on your feet out or in. Just come back to big toe, second toe. Use your toes to push you forward, push you forward, push you forward. Breathe all the time. Go a little bit faster. You can put your knees down if you need to do it more gently for you today. Last couple, last one, and rest your knees, uncurl your toes. Bravo, well done. Sit with the soles of your feet together. We're going to do, have a drink of water. We're going to do a little bit of spine twist. If having the soles of your feet together does not work for you, that's fine. Do it with crossed legs or whatever. So we're going to do this. Hands on the back of your head. If that's a bit yucky, bring the back of your hands together so your wrists meet and fingertips to your chest. Otherwise, the back of your head. Soles of your feet, all 10 toes together and twist. Keep taking your gaze around and around and around and around. The higher your hands are on your body when you're doing spine twisty things, the higher that brings the attention on your spine. So you can play around with that with your hands up here, and then if you were to take your hands down, feel how that moves your twist down. So bring your hands just someplace, hand on your chest. Feel how low that is. Like for me today, I'm like, no, that's not where I need my twist. I need it higher than that. So you can play around with where your hands are to explore that in your spine. Anyway, that was my intention today, was not to teach you, and I can't literally help myself. Bring your legs into the swept to the side position. So we're in this kind of Cleopatra type thing. And just breathe here. We're almost done. You've done amazing. We could have fun all night, but we're just going to do a little tiny fraction more. Okay. And then coming into more of that traditional mermaid. And here. And then if it felt like you fancied it, you could let yourself come up. But you don't have to. Do what feels like it's just nice to do today. And then you can pause up for snake or twist if that feels good. Get some spine twists. So there's twist available. One more, whatever you're doing. And then sweep your legs to the other side. Starting off with the breathing. So you grab your shin, you reach your free arm over towards your shins, and it's opening up that entire side of your body. This is Sunshine. Hello, Sunshine. They don't know their names yet. We keep addressing them to try and get them to learn their names, but they don't. So into your mermaid. Oh. And then if it feels like it's there for you, grab it and side bend. And it's side bend rather than side lift because I want you to go into the, actual lateral flexion. Okay, and then if you want to add your snake and twist, you can. Always have your little counter stretch. So we go into the side bendy bit, you come out of it to snake and twist, and then come down just, One more, enjoying whatever you're doing. And because I always like to finish a Christmas class with rolling like a bauble, that's what we'll do next. Sitting at the front of your mat, clasping your hands or your shins, whatever is most appropriate for you. Look down so that it helps you to find your ball shape, and then send your sit bones up towards the ceiling to roll you back. And the goal here is that you just maintain your bobble shape and you just rock to Christmas. Couple more. And then if it's possible, rock yourself to standing. And then stand somewhere, feet slightly apart, eyes closed. And just taking a moment to notice how you feel in your body, from head to toe, mind, body, soul, breath, all dimensions of you. How do you feel? And then slowly let the light in through your eyelids, blink them open. And then you can come and unmute.